Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, or whenever you watch me right now. My name is Jay Luke, the owner and operator of the Passionates Network. I'm also the host of Talk That Talk. Remember, you can get any of our merchandise. Just check it out right here on this page. Remember, you can get 30% off your final purchase. Just make sure you type in the code HBCUBAND. Again, 30% off your final purchase. Just type in the code HBCUBAND. Also, if you want to continue to support the channel, not just only by watching and clicking the like button, which we always ask you to do, you can also donate to the page. It's pretty cool. It's really easy to do. $1, $2. Hey, you can even throw a 30 in there. It's cool. But just continue to help to support and donate the page and the channel, and we're gonna keep rocking like that. Man, this news came to me last night. And when I saw it, it was very shocking to me. And so we're gonna go through it because we need to make a lot of noise about this one. So this says right here, Waltrip High School marching band forbidden by HISD from playing at the Sugar Bowl. So for people who don't know, who are not from the Houston and or Texas area, Waltrip High School is an award-winning band, high school band in Waltrip in Houston. And they have been, like I said, a award-winning band. Jesse Espinosa is now the retired band director. They have a new band director there. My good friend Eric Jimenez was once an assistant band director there as well. And they are a program that is basically kind of located in the inner city. A lot of Hispanic kids are in that program. And we could call it if you want to call it that, you can call it a band of mixed with black and brown people or black and brown kids. And they have been, again, an award-winning band program out of the city of Houston. So I'm going to read through this for you guys, with you guys, and we're going to break down this thing. It says the Roaring Ram Band from Waltrip High School in Garden Oaks was one of the 5 national teams selected to perform at the 2025 Sugar Bowl in New Orleans early next year. However, after spending the past year fundraising and after already putting down a deposit for the chance to show off in front of a national audience, Houston ISD is the school district, one of the school districts in the city of Houston, the largest school district, has declined to approve the trip. Waltrip parents told the Chronicle this week. The reason for the denial? Orlando Riddick, the North Division superintendent serving underneath HISD Superintendent Mike Miles, which, if you don't know the story of what's going on with Mike Miles and that whole superintendent situation and the takeover, all this kind of stuff, y'all got to go read it. It's crazy. Told the school that New Orleans is too dangerous of a town to perform in. Now, before we even get into the meat of this thing, that's nuts. You mean to tell me that between all of the things that take place in New Orleans, between Mardi Gras, Essence Festival, like all of these amazing things that take place in the city of New Orleans, you mean to tell me that it's too dangerous for students to go down there and perform? Listen, there's danger in every city you go to. There's danger in the city of Houston. Heck, I'm going to be honest. The city of Houston, my city, is a lot, from what I'm reading and understanding, is a lot more dangerous than what it was when I grew up. So you mean to tell me that you're going to hold, what does that say about your vision of the city of New Orleans? If I was from New Orleans, I'm pretty sure right now, Quan reading something like that would infuriate him. But anybody from the city of New Orleans, because you mean to tell me that you can't allow kids to travel down there because of the fact that you think that it's too dangerous for them? Come on, man. Come on. Let's continue. 1 year ago, the Roaring Red Ram Band found out that they were one of 5 teams picked to perform during the annual college football playoff game at the Caesars Superdome on January 1st, 2025. The school submitted paperwork right away to Houston ISD, which must approve all school trips, according to one of the parents who spoke to the Chronicle. The families begin booking Airbnbs and planning holiday vacations, so on and so forth. We submitted the paperwork multiple times, and multiple times we were told it was being looked at. But because of the movement within HISD, it got lost in the shuffle. We were told it was a go until the last steps. So what she's, or what this person is basically saying, this one of the parents is saying, is that They submitted, resubmitted. A lot has been happening at HISD. Like I said before, if you don't know the story about the whole superintendent and all that kind of stuff, you got to go read it for yourself, get the information. So basically, they're saying that the paperwork was lost in the shuffle of all the stuff that's been going on, but then they finally were told that everything was good to go until the last steps. The parent also confirmed that the paperwork kept getting bounced back until the end of the last school year, but with all the turnover inside HISD, it apparently sat in a box in the office all summer long. Since February, the marching band had been fundraising with the goal of bringing in $80,000 so that all band members who wish to go could make the journey to New Orleans. The school already put down a $15,000 non-refundable deposit for World Strides, which is a travel company used by HISD. Uh, the band had several events throughout the year to help fundraise the money. One parent says she believed there was a verbal agreement made between outgoing principal Rhonda Honor and the director of bands Brenda Coral Smith, allowing the Waltrip team to perform. Now, that's questionable. Questionable, right? She said that she believed it, but here's the problem. The problem becomes there has to be documentation. There has to be documentation. Because when you have a situation like this, listen, what I've learned in this thing called education, specifically now, not when I was a kid, because when I was younger, principals would stay in seats for a long time. Long time. Now, turnover with principals be like 2, 3 years, 4 years maybe. But the thing about it is that what's going on in the city of Houston in HISD is that turnover rate is super high. And a lot of the reason is because of the fact that a lot of people got moved out of positions based on whatever reason that the new superintendent decided. A lot of them were because of test scores, so on and so forth. But regardless of the fact, you got to have the documentation that would have stated on paper in ink, you are going to go. So that there is a little questionable. HISD said in a statement to Chronicle that they are proud to support the artistic ambitions of our students. School and district leadership are working closely with students to identify an opportunity where students can showcase their talents in a safe environment. Ooh. Let me tell you why this is that's an interesting thing, right? It's interesting because one, this goes down to documentation, first of all, because they verbally outwardly said this and it was recorded. You can go back and see it, right? But they say that they're proud to support the kids in any artistic ambition, right? Which this particular situation is definitely one of those. But here's the kicker, right? Right at the end, showcase their talents in a safe environment. Bad thing about that is I don't think that New Orleans is not a safe environment. I've been there multiple times. I've never ever felt anything. I've never felt unsafe. As a matter of fact, um, I went there when I was in high school, and I never felt unsafe. I've gone there as an adult. I've never felt unsafe. But their standing is you got to be there in a safe, quote unquote, environment. They particularly feel, I guess, that New Orleans is unsafe. But they covered their butt by ending it in that statement. A person with knowledge of the discussions inside HISD said it came down to a judgment call that ultimately the decision was made in the best interest of the student. I don't know how that's in the best interest of the student. I don't know how that's in the best interest of the student. Still, the Waltrip High School community was left stunned by the news as the dream of performing in a national stage was denied. It was an incredible honor and opportunity for these kids. It's not fair to the kids. The parent questioned why safety was an issue as the trip was approved by the band members' families who would have all signed off on HISD paperwork that allowed the kids to go. How did they determine New Orleans was more dangerous than any other cities? We live in Houston. There's gun violence every day. The parents knew of the dangers, but were also okay and gave their approval to go. It's an insult to our intelligence. The kids have been lied to. Their morale is low, and the person who made the decision did not even have the respect to come and talk to the band in person to explain the reasons behind the decision. So here's the thing. let's talk about this real quick. First and foremost, I think that HISD, this is trash. I'm just gonna say it. And I usually don't even use that on this show, on this channel. I usually don't, but this is a trash situation, right? This is an opportunity for kids to perform. If you plan this thing right, if you felt unsafe about the city of New Orleans, you can easily house these kids in a hotel or a situation that is in a more safer environment that may be on the outskirts of New Orleans. You have options and opportunities to be able to make sure that the kids stay safe, quote unquote, and that they're able to perform, and not only perform for the school and have a showing for the school, but also perform for the district and have a good showing for the district, right? You have and as the person, as the superintendent or whoever this was, the assistant superintendent, I think it was, who signed this, you also have the opportunity, if you felt that it would have been unsafe, you could have said, all right, we're going to allow them to go. I want to be on this trip as a representative of the district, and just to make sure that the kids are in secure, safe locations as they are on this trip. There are so many things that you could have done to be able to ensure that these kids would have had the availability to be able to perform. What you did was you made a personal call. You made a personal call and a personal choice, because you didn't even and I agree, you didn't even poll the parents. You didn't ask the parents what their, here's a very good analogy. In 2001, after 9/11, when I was in high school, we had to go and do the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Now, if anybody remembers that time, after 9/11, everybody was nervous to fly. Like, all of that stuff was like a big thing. But we had the opportunity to be able to perform in a place that was going to not only showcase the band program, but also showcase the district, the city of Houston, so on and so forth, and continue to put the band program in a good light. Do you think parents weren't concerned during that time to fly? Do you think kids weren't nervous to fly? But the thing about it is, the parents made a decision, the booster club, the parents, everybody made a decision that this was a great opportunity for the band, and they weren't going to pass that up. This is basically a situation like this, where the parents are signing off on it. You didn't come and talk to the parents. You didn't come and talk to the band staff. You made a personal call on a city I'm pretty sure you're not from, ain't never been to, and if you've been to it, you probably ain't never been really to it. You know, this is, to me, this is trash, right? Now, the other half of that, to me, now here's the kicker to that. The kicker to that is, was there documentation signed from a principal, some type of admin, that gave you the green light to go? That's the question. And I know that sounds bad, right? Because the idea is, as a band director and coming from the mind of the educator, you want to make sure, you want to be on their side. And I am on their side, but I also got to look at it, and I got to be very objective on this. Was there documentation signed that agreed for your band to go? Or did you just assume that because of the opportunity that they're going to allow us to go anyway, let's move forward with fundraising. Let's move forward with paying for travel? That's the question. Because if there was no documentation signed, if they did not give you the green light, and you just kind of moved in the position of saying, we just gonna rock because they're gonna allow us to do this because this is a big opportunity anyway, that's where it gets a little sketchy. That's where it gets a little sketchy. Because they have the right to pull the plug. It's almost like this. You sent the paperwork in, you didn't get anything back. You sent the paperwork in, it kept being one of those situations. What if they denied it right at the last minute on the paperwork? What if they said no and then sent the paperwork back? So I don't know how this information traveled or got to them. I don't know if someone physically told them. I don't know if that paperwork that they kept sending back and forth was signed. But what I'm really curious about is, you know, was anything physically signed and sent to them that said that they have the green light? That becomes where it gets a little sketchy at. I'm gonna look this up right now. Um, most dangerous cities in the U.S. And I felt the need to look this up. Dangerous cities in 2024. What who has the highest crime rate in 2024? Wow. Oh, that's 2022. Wow. Detroit is number one. Number two is Memphis, Birmingham, Kansas City, St. Louis, Baltimore. New Orleans is on the list, right? But you're talking about a situation where you're talking about a national situation, Sugar Bowl. You're talking about a heavily funded trip that can put you guys in a position that is not in the areas, quote unquote, that are typically um, high in crime. I think still, in my opinion, I really believe that HISD dropped the ball on this. I do. I believe that HISD dropped the ball on this. And I think that they could have made a better decision. I think that they could have communicated better. This was an opportunity for a lot of kids to be able to have an experience that they had not had before. And you completely dropped the ball on it. So, but again, like I said, at the end of the day, the question still remains, was there physical documentation that was signed and agreed upon by some admin, even if it was a prior principal? It was something that was stated in ink that, you were able to go. So I don't know, man. You guys tell me inside of the comment section, what do you guys think about this? Do you think that HISD was right? Do you think that HISD handled it the right way? Do you think that the kids, the students, the band program, the parents, all of them are right? And do you feel like they needed to, they should move forward with going anyway, and they actually wronged the kids instead of doing what was right for the kids? You leave all of that information down in the comment section. Also, man, I want to see, let's push this information out too. Let's see if we can get these to the right people in the right hands, man. But again, you guys leave all your thoughts inside of the comment section. Again, make sure you support the channel in any way you can. If you want to go ahead and donate, that is more than, we will more than accept all of the donations. Also, please make sure if you want to buy something from the store, go ahead and buy it. Just check out the store. Remember, you get 30% off your final purchase. Just type in HBCU band once you get to the checkout. Again, type in HBCU band and you can get 30% off your final purchase. Man, I have nothing else. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. And I'll see you next time. Peace.